I was fully expecting Jurassic World Rebirth to be a cynical cash grab without an ounce of charm or vision or personality, but boy was I wrong. Yes, it's a cash grab, yes, it's completely unnecessary to make yet another Jurassic sequel, and yes, Universal only made this to fill a gap in their schedule. But under all that corporate constraint, Gareth Edwards' love for this franchise, and his love for big monster-infested popcorn movies, shines through. Rebirth is much closer to the original trilogy than any of the other Jurassic World films. It might not have the airtight storytelling or deeper themes that made the Spielberg original an untouchable masterpiece, but it does have brisk pacing, lovable characters, and a steady stream of beautifully crafted action set pieces. Jurassic World Rebirth is a quintessential summer blockbuster, and a great way to kill a couple of hours and murder a bucket of popcorn. The rapid production of Jurassic World Rebirth sounded like a recipe for disaster. In early 2024, it was announced that Universal had a script for a new Jurassic World film, and despite not having a director or a cast, they were hell-bent on meeting a summer 2025 release date. David Leitch refused to direct it because the studio was pretty much looking for a gun for hire who would show up and shoot the movie they'd already designed without any creative input of their own. They ended up hiring Gareth Edwards of Godzilla and Rogue One fame, fresh off The Creator. And looking back on it now, he's the only director who could have pulled this off. His background in VFX means he plans his shots, doesn't overwork his artists, and knows how to stick to a schedule. And he's gotten used to working under the pressures of meddling studio executives and behind-the-scenes madness. It's an incredible feat that he managed to get this movie made on time without having to delay the release date or compromise the story. And it's an even more impressive feat that under Universal's corporate thumb, he managed to imbue the film with so much heart and personality.
We're not gonna let you get hurt, okay?
You can really tell this was written by David Koepp, the writer of the original film. It's well paced, you know exactly who all the characters are, and the story organically moves from set piece to set piece. There's no swarm of locusts bullshit, there's no let's weaponize the dinosaurs bullshit. It sets up a plot about extracting dinosaur blood to create a miracle cure for heart disease, but once it gets to Monster Island, it's a more or less straightforward survival story. There is some clunky writing, there's some Marvel-style, overly jokey dialogue that doesn't land.
I can guarantee your safety. I mean, more or less.
More or less?
There's a scene where two characters who have known each other for years tell each other their backstories for the audience's benefit, and it splits its characters into two distinctive casts. We're introduced to the team on the mission to cure heart disease, and a family marooned in the middle of a boating trip. These two groups are briefly brought together before being split up for the entirety of the second act, but they're split up into their original groups. The science squad continue with their mission, while the family gets stranded in the jungle. I think it would have been more interesting to mix and match the two groups. In the first film, Alan is stuck with Lex and Tim, and Ellie is stuck with Malcolm and John Hammond. It creates more interesting dynamics than just leaving everyone with the people they came with. But for the most part, it's a solid script that makes for a solid movie. All the new characters here are a lot more interesting than Owen Grady ever was. They all fall into pretty familiar archetypes, but the actors are all so great that they make those well-trodden roles their own. Scarlett Johansson brings some of that Black Widow badassness to a mercenary quipster. Jonathan Bailey gives a really sweet, affable turn as the team's resident dinosaur nerd. Mahershala Ali has a ton of fun hamming it up as the fearless steamboat captain, but also brings some dramatic depth to his character's guilt over a tragedy in his past. I usually find the unscrupulous businessmen to be the most boring parts of these movies, but Rupert Friend makes his corporate suit kinda funny while still being really unlikable, a bit like Paul Reiser in Aliens. I loved Manuel Garcia Rulfo as a father trying to keep his daughters safe. I loved Luna Blaze as his headstrong eldest daughter. And Audrina Miranda is so precious and adorable as his licorice-chomping youngest daughter that I spent the whole film dreading the moment they'd have something bad happen to her. David Iacono did a great job as the eldest daughter's lazy, good-for-nothing boyfriend Xavier, who the dad can't stand. At first, Xavier is hilariously insufferable, and Iacono leans into it brilliantly. But as the film goes on and he does some unexpectedly heroic things, you start to warm up to him. You can tell which characters are being included as cannon fodder because the ones who get killed early on don't get any backstory or development, but there are some really great kills. The movie has a heavy-handed message about the immorality of the American pharmaceutical industry, selling medicine at a price that a lot of sick people can't afford. But it wasn't really necessary to have a message at all. This is popcorn blockbuster entertainment about a plucky group of heroes being chased around by hungry dinosaurs. At times it feels less like a Jurassic movie and more like a typical monster movie, because the dinosaurs are all failed hybrid experiments and clone rejects, so we keep getting further and further away from the initial thrill of seeing prehistoric wonders brought to life on the big screen. But there are some really cool monster designs in here, drawing from the Xenomorph and the Rancor. And Edwards is a master of staging big action sequences. The stakes, the geography, and how much danger everyone's in are all crystal clear in every massive set piece. Those action scenes alone make this worth watching on the big screen. Every sequel to Jurassic Park has been unnecessary. The original is a perfect movie that conclusively resolves its themes, conflicts, and character arcs in time for the end credits. But the sequels have ranged from pointless but fun pieces of entertainment like The Lost World, to abhorrent, egregious pieces of shit like Dominion. Thankfully, Rebirth errs much more on the pointless but fun entertainment side than the piece of shit side. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you liked the video. Remember to like and subscribe and click on the little bell. And also seize the day and call your mom and be kind to yourself.